Don't make yourself small for anybody. Be the awkward, funny, intelligent, beautiful little weirdo that you are. Don't hold back. Weird it out. So I don't know if you feel different than other people. It's just giving me vibes of like people that are into this stuff. They're telling you to be authentic. Like, don't hold back. Even if you think you're different, you're meant to be different. We have, what's your best flirting technique? Personally, I like to play hard to get by staying at home and having no contact with anybody. If you're single or if you come into a period soon where you find yourself single and you need to put yourself like on a dating website or something, maybe you're hesitant because you like different things and they're saying to put yourself out there. And you know, it's true. Like if I put myself on a dating website and I'm somebody who's into this witchy stuff, there might be most of the people that think, oh, that's weird. No, that person's not for me. But if you don't put yourself out there, it's going to be harder to find the one person that is for you. So there was one time I heard something and it was like, be yourself. Because while the majority of people that aren't for you, it's like you weed them out quicker, right? And it allows you to find your person quicker because maybe that weirdness is what attracts your other weird person. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to dating, like I feel like they're saying, like if you're single right now, don't stay home and not put yourself out there. Don't hold back, even if you think you're different, because your person's out there. And so it's going to be easier for them to find, whether it's on a dating website or just in general. You know, that might be what they like. For instance, when I go on Facebook dating now, they didn't used to have it this way, but now people put spiritual, and I'm getting a lot more spiritual people sent my way. It didn't used to be like that, and I found it really hard to connect with other people. And like, that's going to be hard enough, right? So just make sure you're being yourself on these websites, because if you are into like spiritual stuff or something that is considered weird, you know, when you start talking to a mainstream person, you're probably going to have conflicts anyway. So you might as well put yourself out there as you. Right now, be careful because it is a, you know, scary world out there. So do things safely. You know, vet people before you go out with them if you have to, or, you know, go in public. Don't go straight to somebody's house or something. But they are just saying, like, don't play so hard to get that you're not putting yourself out there. And when you do put yourself out there, be yourself. And then this one says, as you are shifting, you will notice that you are not the same person anymore. So when they say shifting, it's giving me the fact that we're all going through this, you know, a lot of us would be going through a spiritual awakening. You'll notice you're not the same person. So maybe you're also stepping into your authenticity. You're being encouraged to embrace that. What you used to tolerate has become intolerable. Where you once stayed silent, you are now speaking your truth. So again, speak your truth with people in a kind way. You don't have to be mean about it, but be more authentic. Instead of battling and arguing, you choose to remain silent. There's a time where people are toxic and you just need to cut them off and not argue. What doesn't serve you, cut them off. But when it is appropriate, speaking your truth and being authentic. So there's a little bit of a message here that kind of competes against each other, but I get what they're saying. So as I've gone through the spiritual awakening, I'm quicker to just say, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and argue about this. This is how I feel, you know, and not argue and not get sucked into toxicity and drama, but at the same time, being authentic. So if you're feeling this way, that is encouraged. You are beginning to understand the value of your voice and that there are some situations that no longer deserve your time, attention, and energy. So if that's not what you're doing already, this is what you're encouraged to do, is set more boundaries, cut off the toxicity, be truthful, speak your truth in a kind, loving way. If you're single, when it comes to dating, put yourself out there, but be yourself. For people that just, you know, aren't you, don't waste time with that. If you feel intuitively that they're not for you, just because you want love doesn't mean, I mean, I guess you can go on dates with people, get to know new people, no problem. But if you're somebody that's like serious about finding that special person, you don't have a lot of time, then sometimes you have to just trust your intuition. But I think, you know, this is about, I think in general, your whole message is like cutting out things that don't serve you so that you can make room for things that do. And then when it comes to dating, you know, making sure you're putting yourself out there in safe ways, but also in an authentic way. Because while you might have, you know, let's say you talk to 100 people to find that one weirdo like you know, it'll be worth it when you find that person you connect with. But if you're not being authentic, it's going to be harder for them to find you. So if you're both authentic, you can see that in each other, you know. You can be like, oh, that person likes what I like, you know. So it's important to be authentic.